Okay, students, now we're here and we're with the third angles theorem. So let's just go ahead and figure out what the heck does this third angles theorem mean. Okay, in the diagram we're going to say A is 63 degrees, C is 39 degrees, B is the same as A, it's also 63, and F is the same as C, it's also 39 degrees. All right, it's telling us to find the measure. I hate when people say measure, so sometimes I say it. Let's find the measure of angle B and E. Well, let's be extremely tedious right here, but we have the triangle sum theorem. We know that all the angles add up to 180 degrees. All right, so that means 63 plus the measure of angle B plus 39 degrees equals 180. All right, so we're going to get 102 plus the measure of angle B equals 180, and the measure of angle B equals 78 degrees. All right, now similarly, I could just replace this. I'm going to be incredibly lazy right now. If I wrote D, E, F, E, E, E turns out to also be 78 degrees. All right, that was a whole new level of lazy. All right, so OMG. Notice how A and D were the same, C and F were the same. So then there's a pair of corresponding angles that were congruent. So that's forced the third angles to be congruent as well. So if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the third angles are also congruent. All right, why is this the thing? Why are we talking about this? Well, remember, originally, you don't have to write this down, but originally, we needed 3 sides, 3 angles. All right, we needed 6 pieces of info. We needed 6 pieces of info to say triangles were congruent. Now, we still need 3 sides, but we actually only need 2 angles. We only need to know 2 angles, because if we know 2 angles, it guarantees the third to be congruent as well. So in the first video, we had 6 pieces of information. We're already down to 5 pieces of info to say that triangles are congruent. Again, you don't have to write this down. This is just kind of a side note. And then we're already from 6 to 5. We're actually going to boil it down and eventually get to 3. But that's for another day of learning. All right, so let's just do a series of problems. All right, given the information shown on the picture on the right, prove that triangles are congruent. All right, write a congruency statement for these triangles. So all the sides are already knocked out. 1 tick mark, 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks, 2 tick marks, and then 3 and 3. All right, so the sides are already knocked out. Now, I've said this a lot, and I'll say it again. What's going on in this region right here, we have to be really good at. All right, there's 2 angles here. And in fact, we have to know that these angles are congruent. Now, we can't call this, you can't call this angle Q. That is bad. All right, what you can call this, all right, it's angle RQP. All right, angle RQP. All right, and that's congruent to angle MQN. We have to use 3 letters, remember, we have to. Angle Q, there's 4 different angles coming off vertex Q, so we can't just use the vertex. All right, so why are these 2 angles congruent? We have to know that they are congruent because they are vertical angles. All right, we're going to use vertical angles so much in this unit, you have to know it immediately. Just by looking at this picture, when you see 2 angles that form an X, we have to know that their opposite angles are congruent, vertical angles. All right, that's almost going to be, it has to be free points. It's so common, we have to have it perfected. It's free points. Okay, so anyways, so we know we have these vertical angles are congruent. So a lot going on over here. So first off, we know P and N are congruent because they're both 92 degrees. And then lastly, how do we know that R? Notice I can call these, it's okay to say angle R and angle M. Why? There's only one angle coming off of these, all right? They're not sharing a vertex with any other angles. Angle Q, obviously there's 4 angles coming off of angle Q. 2 of them lie inside the triangle. But R and M, there's only one unique angle. These are congruent because of the third angles theorem. So we know all the sides are congruent. We figured out all the angles were congruent by using vertical angles theorem and the third angles theorem. All right, so now I can write a congruency statement. I'm going to start with Q, just because I'm going to say Q, P, R is congruent to triangle Q, N, M. And notice how I matched up the corresponding angles. All right. And then what type of transformation maps is? All right, how do we go from these triangles? Well, it's just a simple rotation. All I did was rotate. So that's one problem using the third angles theorem. Now we got a couple more. All right, using the third angles theorem, find the value of x in the picture below. So, classic problem. Notice how N and S are the same. L and R are the same. So that must mean T and M are the same. So in fact, M is also 2x plus 30. So what this means is that all the angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So I have 55 plus 65 plus 2x plus 30 equals 180 degrees. And to get that equation, just to emphasize things, all I did was this purple triangle on the left. All I did was add up all the angles. So a bunch of math occurs. I'm going to get 150 plus 2x equals 180. I'm going to get 2x equals 30. I'm going to get x equals 15. All right, that's it. I just applied the third angles theorem, did a little algebra. So cool. All right, now I gotta find the value of x and y. So let me rewrite this congruency statement. It's a little blurry, but triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Find the values of x and y. Let's focus on x first. All right. Notice how D, 5x plus 2 is angle D. Well, D corresponds to A, 87. All right, so that means those angles are congruent. So that means that the angle measures are equal. So that means I'm allowed to say 87 plus 5x, or excuse me, 87 equals 5x plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides, I get 85 equals 5x, divide 5 from both sides, and I believe I'm making this video on a Wednesday, so since it's Wednesday, 85 divided by 5 equals 17. I'm not sure what that equals on a Thursday. But anyways, that's that. So find the values of x, check. Now we gotta find the value of y, so I gotta do some thinking. Let's look at things. All right, 3y, c, corresponds to f, OMG, we don't know f, rats. However, what do I know? Well, b and c are the same, or b and e. So that means angle B must also be 42 degrees. So that means that to find y, I can say 87 plus 42 plus 3y equals 180. Sweet. All right, 87 plus 42 is 129 plus 3y equals 180 minus 129. Oh my gosh, some spooky things are happening. All right, after all this mathematics, y is going to equal 17 as well. Crazy, both numbers were 17. All right, that was a lot of fun. We're going to have more fun in these next coming videos. Look at all this cool stuff. Yay!